There is an hour in every 24 that does not belong to anyone but the person living it. For most of the world, that hour comes and goes without being noticed. People fall asleep before it arrives, the lights go out, the breathing slows, the morning takes care of itself. But for some people, that hour is the longest part of the day. Elon Musk has lived inside that hour for as long as the people closest to him can remember. It is the hour after the meetings have ended and the assistants have gone home, and the rocket has either flown or not flown, and the news cycle has either been kind or has not been kind. It is the hour when there are no more decisions to make until the morning, the hour when nothing is being built, nothing is being argued about, nothing is being defended. Most people find that hour restful. He has rarely found it restful. According to people who have known him for a long time, when that hour arrives, Elon Musk does what some men have always done in the dark. He puts on music. Not the music he listens to during the day, not the music his children play, not the music that anyone would expect from a man who is, by most measurements, one of the most public figures of his generation. He plays 3 songs, always the same 3. He has played them in some form for over 30 years, sometimes on a record player in his early Stanford apartment, sometimes on a small laptop in a Tesla factory office with the door closed, sometimes on a phone connected to the speakers of a Texas rented house in a room where no one else is sleeping. The songs do not change. The order changes sometimes. The volume changes, depending on whether there is anyone else in the house. But the songs themselves are the same. One of them is older than he is. One of them was his mother's. And one of them, he has never told anyone what it really means to him. This is the story of those 3 songs, of what they have carried him through, and of what they have quietly been asking him to hear every night that he has been unable to sleep. The first song is the oldest. It is older than Elon Musk by about 30 years. It was written before he was born by a man who would never know that a small boy in South Africa would one day, decades later, listen to it on every continent that has air. It is not a famous song. It is not on any of the lists of greatest recordings of the 20th century. It is the kind of song a person finds by accident on the backside of an old vinyl, in the middle of a long radio program, in a hotel lobby where the music has been playing for nobody in particular. The kind of song that catches a person off guard. Elon found it when he was 8 years old. He had been waiting for his father to come home. According to family memory, Elon Musk was not the kind of father who came home at predictable hours. Some nights, dinner was eaten without him. Some nights, dinner was eaten with him, but in a silence that the children had learned by then to recognize as something other than peace. That particular night, the father was late. The dinner had been eaten. The dishes had been washed. The 2 boys, Elon and Kimball, had been sent to the small carpeted living room of the house in Pretoria, where there was a radio that the family kept on for company. The song came on. Elon, who was 8 years old, who had not yet known he would be anything in particular, sat down on the floor beside the radio and did not move for the entire duration of the song. He did not know its name. He did not know who had written it. He only knew that something inside the song was speaking to something inside him in a language he had no other access to. When the song ended, he sat there a moment longer. His mother, in the kitchen, had been watching from the doorway. She did not say anything. She had learned by then that her son was a particular kind of child, and that there were moments when he needed to be left alone with whatever it was that had just touched him. He never asked her what the song was called, but 4 years later, when he was 12, he found it again, by accident, the way he had found it the first time, on a different radio, in a different room, on a different night when something difficult was happening in the family. He wrote down the title that time. He has carried that title with him on slips of paper and in notebooks and in a small section of his phone for the rest of his life. He plays it now on the nights he cannot sleep. The second song was his mother's. Maye Musk did not have many things to herself in the years when she was raising 3 children alone. She had her work. She had her dignity. She had the long, steady patience of a woman who had decided, somewhere in the middle of her own difficult years, that she would not let her circumstances tell her who she was. What she had, almost as a private indulgence, was a song. It was an Afrikaans song in the version she preferred. A simple folk melody that had been sung in South Africa for a long time before any of her children were born. A song about a woman who waits for someone who has not come home yet, who watches the road, who keeps the lamp lit. It was the kind of song that, if you understood the language, could feel a little ordinary. If you did not, it could sound like a hymn. Maye sang it to herself when she did not know anyone was listening. She sang it while she cooked. She sang it while she folded laundry. She sang it in the small back garden of the house in Pretoria on the evenings when she was outside watering the plants that she had refused, despite everything, to let die. Elon heard her sing it more times than she ever realized. He never told her, while he was a child, that he listened. He was the kind of son who did not announce things like that. He simply absorbed them. He took them inside himself, and he kept them, and they became, without his ever planning it, part of the architecture of who he was. When he left Pretoria in 1990, the same departure that contains another story we have told elsewhere, he carried that song with him. He did not have a recording of it. There was no recording to have. He carried it in the way that children carry the songs their mothers sing, in the bones of their memory, in the chambers of their inner ear, in some place that does not require any external technology to access. The first time he played that song, as an adult, was in the 4th year after he had left. He had been working in Palo Alto. The week had been a hard one. He was 22 years old. He had a small studio apartment with a small stereo and a small speaker, and almost nothing else. He could not sleep. He sat on the edge of his small bed in the dark, and he sang the song to himself, the way his mother had sung it, in the version he could remember. He did not finish. He sang it through twice until he could hear his mother's voice underneath his own, and then he stopped because he could not continue. For the rest of his life, on the nights when he has not been able to sleep, he has played a version of that song. He has searched over the years for a recording that captures what his mother used to sound like singing it. He has not found one that satisfies him. He has settled, in the end, for a version that is close enough, that catches enough of the original feeling to let him close his eyes and remember what it was to be a small boy in a small house in Pretoria, with a mother who, in the back garden, was watering the plants she had refused to let die. The third song is the one he has never explained to anyone. It is not from his childhood. It is not from his mother. It is not, as far as anyone can determine, connected to any specific person or event in his recorded life. It is a song that he found at some point in his late 20s. People close to him remember him playing it during the years when PayPal was being built, and again, more frequently, during the years when SpaceX and Tesla were both close to failing, and again, sometimes, after public arguments that he did not want to be in. He has never said, in any interview or any public statement, what the song means to him. When asked, in a small private setting many years ago, by a friend who had walked in on him playing it, he is reported to have said only this: "It is the song I play when I want to remember why I have not given up." He did not elaborate. The friend did not press. The song has remained, in the catalog of his quiet life, the single piece of music that he has refused to attach to a story. Every other thing about him has by now been examined, theorized, parsed, debated, dissected. The first song has been guessed at by biographers. The second song has been mentioned in passing in his mother's own writing. But the third song, the one he plays when he wants to remember why he has not given up, has stayed his. And it is the one he plays last every time. There is a year that the people closest to him remember as the year of the songs. It was 2008. The rockets were exploding. The car company was running out of cash. The marriage he had built when he was younger was coming apart. He had been awake by then for more nights in a row than was reasonable. The phone calls from creditors had started arriving on Sundays. He was being called a fool in print by people he had once respected. That year, he played the 3 songs almost every night. His employees did not know. The journalists did not know. His own children, who were small at the time, did not know that on certain nights, after the house had gone quiet, their father would walk into a small room at the back of the property, close the door, and play 3 pieces of music in a particular order, the same order every time. It was the only ritual he had. It was the only thing that year that did not ask anything of him in return. The 3 songs are still on his phone. He has bought new phones many times over the last 20 years. He has migrated his files. He has switched operating systems. He has changed continents more than once. But the songs have always made it to the new device. He has always made sure of that. If you were to look through his music library, if such a thing were possible, you would not find anything that looked like a deliberate playlist of the 3. You would not find them grouped together. You would not find a folder labeled in any direct way, the 3. He has been careful about that. He has never been the kind of man who likes the most important things to be visible. But they are there. They have always been there. And on the nights when he cannot sleep, which by every account are still more frequent than the world would imagine, he reaches for them in the same order he has reached for them since he was a young man. He plays the first one, the one from his childhood, the one he found on the radio at 8 years old, waiting for a father who was late. He plays the second one, his mother's, the one she sang in the back garden while watering plants she had refused to let die. And then he plays the third, the one he has never explained, the one he reaches for when he wants to remember why he has not given up. The whole sequence lasts a little less than 15 minutes. When it is over, sometimes he is able to sleep, sometimes he is not. He has by now made his peace with the difference. There is something most people do not understand about men who have been called, at various points in their lives, every name a man can be called. They are not unmoved by it. They do not have, somewhere inside themselves, a special compartment where they store the criticism and the praise and the lawsuits and the magazine covers and the millions of public opinions untouched by any of it. They are not made of a different material than the rest of us. They feel the things that other people feel. They just do not always have the time in the bright hours of the day to feel them out loud. So they have rituals. Some men have a chair they sit in. Some men have a window they look out of. Some men have a long walk they take late when no one is watching. Elon Musk has 3 songs. He plays them in the dark. He plays them alone. He plays them in the same order every time, because there is something steadying about repetition. And a man who has spent his life making the future feel possible has, somewhere in the privacy of his own life, needed something that did not need to be reinvented. The first song is older than he is. It found him when he was waiting for someone who did not come home. The second song is his mother's. It carries her voice even on the nights she is sleeping in a different time zone, even on the nights she is no longer the one singing. And the third song, the one he plays last, the one he has never explained, is the one that has, quietly, for over 20 years, been telling him a thing that nobody else has been able to tell him. What that thing is, he keeps to himself. But every year, the songs go with him. To Texas, to California, to launch sites and factories and conference rooms and houses with children sleeping in them and houses with no one sleeping in them at all. He carries them the way some men carry rosaries, the way some men carry photographs, the way some men carry the small, irreducible things that have somehow gotten them through. And on the nights he cannot sleep, which are still, more often than the world would imagine, most of the nights of his life, he reaches for the same 3 songs. And in the small, dark hour when nobody is watching, he listens. He listens the way the boy in Pretoria listened. He listens the way the young man in Palo Alto listened. He listens the way a man who has built the future for everyone listens, when he finally has a few minutes to be no one in particular. He listens. And then, sometimes, he sleeps. If you find these quieter chapters from one of the most discussed lives of our time meaningful, subscribe for more reflections on his childhood, his family, his solitude, and the small private rituals that, in the end, have carried him further than the rockets ever could.